Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com. Today is Friday, April 13th. Hey, it's Friday the 13th. Oh, that explains a few things. And here's some updates. I've got some new concept art for you for the Reclaimers and the Zlanthos. The Zlanthos and Reclaimers are still in early phases of concept art, but I want to show it to you because I think it's really good. I'm going to be talking about new perks that I've added last night, and I want to explain how you can upgrade your perk if you want. And then I want to talk about a new goal, what we're going to do if we hit 60 or what we're going to do if we hit $70,000. Of course, in the background, there goes Mike. Mike likes to walk in the background of all my videos.
I always do.
He always do. It's like the running joke now. First off, concept art. I always start with that because it's the coolest stuff. It's probably what you guys want to see the most. The same artist who did the corporation, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to work for me full-time for the next little while because he already has another contract with another company. So I had him work like crazy this week to come up with the basic concepts for the Reclaimers and Zlanthos because he did such a good job with the corporation. And the other concept artists that were working on those, they're doing a good job too. But just wanted to try to get another kind of angle because with the extra money that I have, I want to make sure we get the look right. If we had a tight budget, then I would be stuck with whatever the first concept artist comes up with. So it's nice to be able to have more than one. So first off, the Reclaimers. Here is the latest concept for the Reclaimer race or the Reclaimer faction. Now, if you're this picture doesn't show the difference between the size of a Reclaimer and the size of a human. They're roughly 6 inches to 1 foot taller, just because they live mostly out in space. The lore around the Reclaimers is going to be changing a bit, but we'll talk about that soon. The fundamental is going to stay the same. The whole being out in space and low and zero gravity, having genetic modifications so their bones don't decay away to nothing and their muscles don't atrophy, but they're still going to be, not as strong as the average human. They're going to need exosuits to hold them up, and that's what these are. So tell me what you think. You can be brutally honest if you like. I need your feedback because, hey, you're the customers, right? If you don't like it, you're not going to buy it. So let me know things you like about it, things you don't like about it, and all of that. Next, just today, he sent me the latest concept for the Zlanthos, and I think he's hitting on something really nice here. Now, before I show it to you, there are going to be similarities between this and other alien races. We've been going back and forth I've gone with different concept artists to try to get different things. It's really hard to come up with a totally unique alien. Let me just, let me give you that caveat. So here it is. Here is the concept art that we have so far for the Zlanthos. Now, it's the bottom row that I like better. So this is just his second iteration. His first iteration, he gave me a bunch of just different ideas, and I told him a couple that I liked. And then he expanded those to what you see right here. And I really like the bottom row better. But once again, what do you think? Do you think we're heading in the right direction with the Zlanthos? I know people are going to draw similarities. Oh, they look like this or they look like that. And you know what? That's true because inspiration comes from somewhere. But just go easy on those kind of comparisons because who cares if they look like something else as long as they're not identical. Like, for example, Tyranids and Zerg. Two very successful races, the Zerg with StarCraft, which is incredibly successful, and Tyranids with, of course, Warhammer 40k, which is a very successful miniature war game. And, of course, Tyranids took some of the looks from Alien movies, who took some looks probably from something else. And everybody uses dwarves and elves that Tolkien kind of took the look from something else and fairy tales. So everything's going to kind of come together that way. So that's my defense for if any of the concept art resembles something else, because it's going to resemble something else. So go easy on that, but tell me if you like the look of it, if you like where it's heading, because your feedback is very important. So that's our latest concept art. I don't think I have anything else to show you. No, I already showed you other stuff on Wednesday. So let's talk about new perks. So I've added a few new perks. I've modified a couple as well. The $750 level and the $1,000 level, nobody was taking. The $750 level is where I get a pie plate to the face, and the $1,000 level is where Dave took a paintball shot to the bare chest. Now the $1,500 level, they're still going to get both of those things. It just doesn't say it on the page because I can't modify the description of a perk once somebody has taken it. That's against the Indiegogo rules, which makes sense. You don't want to take a perk and then have the fundraiser person change it on you, and then you're like, I didn't want that one, but now I can't get my money back. So you don't want that. So the $1,500 level is still going to include the old stuff of Dave taking a paintball and me taking a pie plate to the face. So we're still going to have that fun video at the end. So don't worry about that. But let me go over the new perks. The other thing is, right now, I've realized Indiegogo has a limit to how many perks. I wanted to add a few more neat ones, but I've been kind of restricted by how many they allow. I've emailed their support to see if they can open up that restriction so I can add a few more. But for now, this is the limit. So this will probably be all the perks. So the most important one, I think, is the $150 level. Now that we've decided we're going to do 2 starter sets, I'm pretty set on that. The $150 level is going to get you both those starter sets in limited edition packaging. Let me just read it right here. You get the $5 level, which is, the acknowledgement on the website and the desktop wallpaper. And you get both starter sets that are first created. So you won't have, like if we decide on 3 starter sets and the third one is going to take longer, you'll get the first 2. So that's what we need to do just to keep it functional there. Shipped anywhere in the world for free in limited edition packaging, signed by myself and maybe other MiniWarGaming team members as well. So if your question is, well, there's a couple questions you might have. One is, what are the 2 factions going to be? I'm not 100% sure yet, which I know kind of will stop some people from contributing there. But and the Zlanthos, for sure, I want to be one of the factions. I'm determined that they're going to be one of the first 2 factions. The other one is either going to be Reclaimers or Corporation. Until this week, I would have said Corporation because the designer just nailed the Corporation so well. I really like their look. We even have a 3D sculptor working on one of the Corporation members right now, and he's doing a pretty good job. So we might actually have some 3D designs for that would work. But so it's either going to be Corporation or Reclaimers. And because of the concept art I just showed you for the Reclaimers, we might have something for them as well. So it's going to be Zlanthos and either Reclaimers or Corporation. I know people could vote which one they like better, but really, what it really comes down to is how soon we can nail that concept art, how soon we can nail the sculpts, and then use those. So those are but for sure it's not going to be the Salvagers or the Animal faction or the Bandits, because we haven't even started on concept art for the Animals and the Bandits. And the Salvagers, while we actually have a lot of concept art for them, and I even have somebody sculpting them, I don't think they're a powerful first faction. They just don't, they're not iconic enough. They might be the 3rd faction we do, just because it'd be interesting. Have alien, human, and then Salvagers. And also because a lot of people like them, and so I do want to make sure we create them. So that's the $150 level. Now the second question you might have is, hey, I took the $100 level, can I upgrade to the $150? You can upgrade any of the non-limited numbered perks simply by contributing the difference. So if you contributed $50 and you want the $150 level, then you can just contribute $100. It'll tell you that you're getting the other perk, but at the end of everything, I'm going to look at everybody who contributed multiple times, and I'm going to email them, and we're going to ask them, what do you want? Do you want the different perks, or do you want it all added together to get this one perk? Now for the limited edition ones that I've added, in order to get that one, you are going to have to contribute that amount. Because they're limited, we need to, before the campaign is over, figure out how many people get those. But we'll give you a refund for any of the other contributions that you did if you want that as well. So let's get into those ones so you can understand what I mean by that. So we added another $500 perk. The one $500 one that we have right now, and there's 6 out of 10 of those claimed, is that Worthy Painting was going to take the first 5 miniatures and paint them up to a high level, the same level that you see Dave's miniatures, Dave's Blood Angels painted, which is a really good level. And that's what they're going to do. So it's the first 5 miniatures. I realize the starter sets will have 7, so we'll figure something out for that. And it's in limited edition packaging, blah, blah, blah. The other $500 one is Worthy Painting. Nick from Worthy Painting told me that he wants to paint up 5 individual miniatures to display level. Now, what is display level? Well, display level is what they're going to do for us as MiniWarGaming for the product packaging. So the product packaging miniatures are going to be painted to an insanely high level of detail. And so you can get this. This one, there's only 5 available, but there's the $500 level, will get you 1 miniature. You'll get all 5 miniatures, and you get the lifetime gold vault membership and everything else, just like it says on the page. But one of them will be painted, and you'll get to choose, to a display level standard. So they'll be superbly painted. So that's the other $500 level. Now this one, since it's limited, and we need to use the Indiegogo system to claim it, if you've already contributed and you want to upgrade your contribution, then what you'll have to do is actually contribute the full $500 and then request a refund for the other money. Now, if you contributed by PayPal, we can give you that refund right away. If you contributed by credit card, then we have to wait until it's all done because we haven't received those funds yet. And we'll probably have to give you a refund by PayPal or by check or money order because it's all one lump sum that comes to us, so it's not an easy way to refund. We don't have a way to refund your credit card. So that goes for any of the limited edition or limited numbered perks. So moving on, there's 2 other limited, or there's Yeah, 2 other limited perks that we've added. So these are swapping out for the other $750 and $1,000 level. At the $750 level, it's called the You'll Be Famous perk. You get the $350 level, which is your gold vault membership for a lifetime and everything else there. Plus, you'll have your name put on the packaging of one of the very first miniatures. Now, there's only 8 of these available because, well, we should theoretically have, there's a commander, a solo, and a squad, and a starter set. That's going to be the 4 different packages for each faction, and there's going to be 2 factions, so there will be 8 of them. And so we only have 8 of these available. So you'll have one of the packages with just your name on it. It'll say something like, this miniature or squad made possible by blank, and your name will be put there. And we'll do it in order of whoever contributes first gets to choose which one they want their name on. So that's the $750 level. The $1,000 level, there's only 5 of these available, and that is that we're going to actually have your name, it's a $350 level, plus your name will be displayed prominently on one of the first pages of all of the first edition rulebooks, so the alpha, beta, and the first edition rulebook. So it'll be very prominently displayed in there. And it'll be like probably the first or second page, just something that when people open the book, they'll know that you really helped. And that's the $1,000 level. Now the $1,500 level, the 8 people have already contributed, will get that $1,000 level as well. They'll get their name in the rule book as well. Plus they'll get all the other benefits that we've previously said they'll get, meaning like the paintball and the pie, and they'll get something named after them in the game. So that still stands, and there's 2 of those levels left. But I think the most popular one at this time is going to be the $150 one because it gets you the 2 starter sets in the limited edition packaging and all of that. So if you have any questions about that, hopefully I've answered them because I don't know how I'm going to respond because I've been getting so many emails and so much stuff on the forum. Post a topic on the forum. That's the best way for me to get a reply. Or you can send an email to support@miniwargaming.com. That's the new perks. So let's move on to the last thing, which is really exciting, and that is the new goal. The new goal is twofold. We have a $60,000 goal and a $70,000 goal. Right now we're at $47,461 as I am making this goal. And we are about a week and a half into the 4 weeks. Now it's really slowed down this week, which is what you would expect, right? If you have a big spike at the beginning and then a big spike at the end and maybe some little spikes in the middle as different people get on board or different sources promote it. So what are we going to do if we hit $60,000 or $70,000? Well, I've got a couple of tremendously good writers lined up to do all the lore. And I'm really excited because the one writer, for example, he's already sent me some stuff. He's written, basically he's almost completed the lore on the war between the Zlanthos and the humans. And it's phenomenal. I just loved it. I'm not going to give it to anybody yet. I'm not going to publish it yet because it needs a bunch of revisions on it. But this spectacular writer. We got another writer set up to do all the history leading up to the war. And then the other writers can also, the first writer is also going to be working on the lore for each of the factions, and closely with me, of course, so that we adhere to what we as a community have come up with and the things that I want in the game as well. But this isn't cheap. Writers are expensive because it takes a lot of time to do this. And so if we hit the $60,000 level, which I think we can do because we're almost at $50,000, we're not even halfway through yet. If we hit the $60,000 level, then we will have all the lore written up. Okay, what does that mean exactly? It means a good detailed account of the history leading up until Dark Potential starts, and then a good overview of each of the factions. And he's already got some really cool ideas for the animal faction. The Zlanthos have some really cool stuff. Those ones he's got a lot of stuff put into, and then the other person will have a lot of good stuff for the human factions as well. So I'm pretty excited for that. So what about the $70,000 level? Well, the $70,000 level, if we hit that, I'm going to take all of that lore and we're going to do a ton of illustrations for it. So you've already seen the concept art from the one guy who did the space elevator in London, and he's working on one for Toronto right now. Well, we have him, and we have other people as well that are really good at illustrating scenes, like entire scenes. And so we're going to use, if we hit the $70,000 level, that extra money to get all that done, because nothing is going to really drive the interest in this game more than the concept art, and obviously the miniatures as well. But the concept art really captures imagination. Like you look at the 40K rulebooks, the War Machine rulebooks, they're just full of illustrations. The box art usually has illustrations. Like it's all over the place. There's posters and everything. So we want to make sure that we have that stuff that can really capture your imagination and give you a good feel for what the game is supposed to feel like. So that is all the announcements. New concept art, new perks, and our new goal. Thank you so much for all your support. If you're just watching this and you're helping to support it, because even you viewing this video makes this video more popular and YouTube's more likely to show it in other areas. But if you really want to help, 1, you can contribute. 2, even if you don't contribute, you can still share or like this video or comment on it or something. Just post it somewhere. 3, do both. That could work too. Anyways, this is tremendous. I am tired. It's been a long week. These past 2 weeks have felt like 2 years. It's just so much work in such a small amount of time, but it's worth it, definitely. We're going to come out with a really good product here, and you will have helped, which is, I think, is a lot of fun. This is Matthew from MiniWarGaming. Stay tuned for more updates, and happy working.